My name is Kroontje. I'm here to tell you about San Lorenzo and give you an update on drilling that we're doing right now. You'll note that it says it's been a year. Well, we're celebrating the first anniversary of the first ever public presentation that San Lorenzo has made, and that was at this Metal Investor Forum exactly 1 year ago. I'd like to thank Eric for inviting us originally and for having us back this year. Thanks, Eric. So we're going to do the same disclaimer of forward-looking statements, of course. And let me tell you that I'm going to do this presentation in two halves. The first will be to introduce you to San Lorenzo, the company, and the Salvador property. We'll get to the current drilling program thereafter. So here's a quick snapshot of San Lorenzo. We have 89.7 million shares out and about 4.3 million options, about 50% of what you could grant under a 10% rolling plan. We have 5.9 million warrants out as a result of the closing that we just finished on a financing. Our market cap's about 89 million and our flagship property is Salvador. You can see where the Salvador property is located there, mid-central Chile, just north of the town of Copiapó, for anybody that knows where that is in Chile. The senior management team is not extensive at this point, but there is a key component, and that is Terry Walker. He's a seasoned geologist, lives in Chile, has been there for 30 years, very up to speed on the megaporphyry belt in Chile and also the IOGC coastal belt. He knows what's going on there in the mining jurisdiction called Chile. So this is kind of complicated, but I'm going to walk you through it because it's important. Salvador is 99,000 hectares, 90 square kilometers. And we have 5 targets on it, four of which we've drilled and 1 of which we haven't. You'll see them there on the map. I'm going to go through them. But what's good to know is that we own 100% of all of our claims with no overrides, no NSRs or anything like that. But the infrastructure around this property is quite amazing. In fact, we have paved roads right to the property. We have high voltage power, goes right along the north edge of the property. We're at lower elevations, up to 2,250 meters, so we're not dealing with the high Andes. And we have year-round access to mining workforces, and there's a water pipeline that services the Codelco El Salvador mine, and there's a smelter nearby. Continuing on that, you'll see in the bottom right, the Codelco El Salvador mine. That's a world-class endeavor. It's produced 65 billion pounds of copper already and over 6 million ounces of gold. And the upper picture is a view from where we're drilling at Cerro Blanco, one of our targets I'll get right to here, but that's of the Porteria smelter that's about 25 kilometers away. So I'm going to go right to our first target to start with, and that is called Cerro Blanco. It features a lithocap located in the east side of the property. You can see a plan view and a elevation of it, but at the bottom, you see another picture, which is alteration visible from the valley floor at the north end of the property. So here's what's interesting on the east side. We've broken it down to east and west sides of the Cerro Blanco property. You'll see the IP sections that we show there. The bottom line and the top line are from 2018. They drove our drilling program last January. And you'll see the intercepts that we got there at the bottom of the slide. Here in the middle of the year, 2005, we did an IP survey over Cerro Blanco and another target I'll get to, and identified that IP target. Then if we go to the west side of the lithocap, this is another one of the lines that we shot this year, middle of 2025, and found some interesting IP anomalies. And I'd point out that those lines at the top are 100 meters apart, so that's a kilometer of width you're looking at there. So then let me go to target number 2, which is Arco de Oro. We call it swarming, but a bunch of parallel swarming epithermal veins that are high in gold. And the picture that you see there is what's happening for about 6 kilometers. That picture is from the red circle you see down there, which is what we call the Arco core zone. And then there's the Arco northwest extension. I'll get to that in just a minute. But I want to show you the kind of holes that we've been drilling. We drilled 12 holes here, but these are the most recent, or a couple of the recent ones, where we intersected 35 meters of 4.83 gram gold, but we took it deeper as well to intersect that same vein system down to 300 meters and intersected 22 meters there of 4.75 and 6.5 meter of half-ounce gold and some higher grade stuff too. So this is just a pictorial, and it's really anecdotal, but I want to send a message that we're looking for larger targets. If you look at what we've drilled so far in just the core zone over a full kilometer of strike length, the average is 17.69, over 2.5 meters of width. Well, if you project that down to 300 meters, and we can't because we only have one hole there, there's your first 1,000,000 ounces. So in the middle of last year, as I mentioned, we shot some IP over the northwest extension. You'll see it's about 3.9 kilometers to the northwest of our core zone, and another line 2.3 kilometers northwest of our core zone. There's IP line D8, which is the one furthest north, and here is the line D5, which is the one midway. Now let me have you look just for a quick second at our third target, Caballo Muerto, which is a porphyry target that we've not followed up on, but we cut 112 meters of 1.44 gold in that a while back. We haven't followed it up, but it needs to have it. And then the last target that I'm going to quickly go through is Tres Amigos. It's a copper-rich epithermal system. Again, we need to do some follow-up here, but we cut those grades, 34 meters of 1.5% copper or 6 of 5.71. There's workings there that are over 14% copper. So now we'll get to the good part, I guess, and that's our current drilling program. Right now, we're on the 10th hole of this drilling program, which looks like it's going to go a little bit longer than we first forecast. So let me show you where we've drilled. So I showed you this IP before, but this is on the east side of Cerro Blanco. We've drilled that hole. Then on the west side of Cerro Blanco, I've showed you that IP line as well. We drilled all three of those holes. Then we moved the rig to Arco de Oro, and you'll remember that I showed you that D8 line that's the furthest away from our core zone. We drilled those two holes. And then we tested another less intense IP anomaly on D8 as well, and that hole is drilled as well. And then right now we are working on a trend that has artisanal workings along the entire length of it, so we're drilling underneath to find out what's going on there. So it wouldn't be myth for us if we didn't tell you something. So this is going to be the subject of a press release before the market opens, but you can see here that we didn't get across the system, but at least we tested the system. Recall that we had drilled 3 holes into this porphyry system before, and this is what we got. So we cut 220 meters of 1.09 grams. It's about 50% longer than the best hole we drilled before. And the other ones that we have are lower in the slide there, but I want to show you why it's important. The lower hole there, you see cell 1 of 25, is the first hole. The second one with the star, that's the one I just showed you. But you may recall that I showed you IP on the top line where the question mark is. Well, that was the strongest IP section that we had from our old IP surveys. We couldn't get there because of topography in the past. But what I want to kind of show is that if we're successful in drilling on that IP line, and we can continue it all the way to the valley floor, where you see in the picture where there's all that alteration, it's 1.7 kilometers of strike. We are not looking for multiples of 10 million tons of ore. We're looking for multiples of hundreds of millions of tons. I don't have long, so I want to do a couple key takeaways. IP is working for us. Our hypothesis that I just showed you at the Cerro Blanco area is strengthening because of the results we're getting. It has multi-kilometer strike potential and potential for multi-million ounce resources at Cerro Blanco. Taking away from Arco de Oro, a takeaway from that is we have some really exciting drilling going on there. We've drilled a bunch of holes. We look forward to continual assay results over the next number of months. The only one that we have, unfortunately, is that one I showed you a few minutes ago. Salvador is a great property. It hosts at least 5 targets. 4 have been tested. Limited drilling, admittedly. The one that's not drilled has anomalous IP on it as well, and each target has the potential to hold multi-million ounce gold or gold equivalent in copper deposits. And I would just tell you that we are just getting started. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from our VP Exploration that couldn't make it here today, and I would like to thank you all for attending.